Hello everybody, welcome to my first stream. I will start by telling a little story how I ended up here in Serbia. I am in a small town next to Novi Sad. It's a part of Novi Sad. I believe it's the second biggest town or city in Serbia, and the trip here was quite interesting in the way that we had to swap planes, and since we couldn't fly over Ukraine, and also it was cheaper for us to fly with the swap. I don't know what's it called in English. When we change the flight, we take the baggage and all the stuff, and the flight change was in Abu Dhabi. I was first time there, and before that we were in Kazakhstan, and it is so cold there. It's real winter, -10 or 15 Celsius, and snow everywhere. And the flight was first from Nur Sultan, as it was called previously, or Astana it's called right now. And the flight, before it happened, we saw a bit of the city and we were going to look around some more, but the weather was extremely windy. The snow was flying horizontally, and we couldn't see much at all because like in 15 to 20 meters it was just a wall of snow, nothing behind it. So, and we weren't ready for this kind of weather. It's a steppe all around the city, therefore there is nothing stopping the wind. It was okay in the previous town we were at the moment, but over there it was freezing, like -30 or something, the feeling. So below freezing temperature, I mean. So then we traveled to Abu Dhabi, and it was the first time I went there, and the weather and the temperature there completely different. It's just a desert, also very flat, but on the contrast it felt like +30. So it's almost like 60 degrees difference in the feeling. We had all these warm clothes on us, and inside the airport it was really chilly, but outside, even though it was night, it was hot. Lucky for us it was a night, and I thought that we would not be able to leave the airport because of no visa or some other stuff like this, but I was wrong, lucky for us. And Karina, my fiancée, had an idea of going to the sea, to feel it, to see it, and I thought, well, okay, why not? And we left the baggage in the airport, took some backpacks with us, and just darted away to the sea. And the road was more than 5 kilometers in one direction. And the thing is that where the airport is placed, there is like a small town built around the airport, and also an F1, what's it called, like theme park for F1 races. Of course, it wasn't used at the moment, but it was there and almost nothing else. And the next town was Dubai, or city, of course, not a town. And it was like a 1.5 hour bus ride in one direction. And no way to walk, or like no trains, no other ways of moving around. And when we went outside, almost the first thing that we noticed was there were no like walking areas, I forgot the word, for walking near the road for the cars, and like I forgot it. Anyway, there is no such things. We were walking along the road, which was quite wide. There were trees around, and all of them were getting watered by this watering system that was inside the ground or on it, which is quite interesting. So we came outside and started walking, and no road for us. And we were walking for almost 5 kilometers alongside this road, and quite a lot of cars were passing by. And it was midnight, like maybe not midnight, but 4 to 5 a.m. at the moment. And there were a lot of cars around. Anyway, we did the walk, and kept on walking through the almost desert-like area. And when we got to the sea, it was a bit disappointing. Yes, the buildings around were magnificent, like beautiful, very, very richly built, and seeing greenery in a place like this looks very intriguing, because all around you can see it's just desert, like it's all dead around any way you look, and it's flat. You can see for kilometers in a direction. But yes, the water was very murky and dirty and smelly, but it was still kind of beautiful. It was worth the walk and worth the experience. We looked around and saw these beautiful buildings themed in their local style, which is always good. And quite a lot of people are working at night also. It's strange to see, because in Russia, for example, there is no need for such a thing. You can work when it's day and sleep when it's night. But it becomes very clear why it is the thing, because while we were going back, it already started. The sunrise has already started, and the wind picked up, which was great. But about half an hour after we came back, we were inside the airport, and there was a glass that was like almost painted over with stickers, and the picture was of a like European view from a window, which looked kind of strange. And I thought, why are they doing this? Wouldn't it be better to see what's outside? So I come up to it, and I start feeling this radiation, just like from a furnace, and I come closer to it and I touch it, and it's like, I don't know, it's almost frying my hand. It's so hot. It was the glass to the outside, and it's, wow, it's frying like you can place eggs on it and eat it almost like in a couple of minutes. It will be perfect fried eggs for you. So yeah, this happened, and this is the reason why there is no roads for human walking around, because no crazy person would ever want to walk in temperatures like this. You would like die almost immediately from, I don't know, dehydration or something. And it's winter, I believe, there also, so I can't even start to comprehend what's going on there when it's summer. It's probably like even 10 to 20 degrees hotter, which is crazy. So even though it's beautiful there, I'm not eager to stay there for longer than a couple of hours. So now we are here. The flight to Serbia was all right. It was a bit longer than the previous one, and the first thing that I noticed about Serbia and Serbian people was on the plane. So there is this thing that a lot of people in Russia do, and if you would ever travel on a plane with a lot of Russians, you will notice this almost immediately. Russians do this weird thing, they clap when the plane touches the ground, and they start clapping in gratitude towards the pilot that he landed us to safety. And I believe this thing doesn't happen often in other countries, or maybe ever. And so this is what happens. Sometimes, by the way, Russians clap in a weird time. I think it's correct to clap when the plane hit the ground and everything is fine. This time, for some reason, someone, I believe it was Russian, but it might be Serbian, I'm not sure, and they started clapping when even before it hit the ground. We came close to the ground, just starting, like we're going to hit to touch the ground in a couple of maybe seconds, like 10 more seconds or so. And everyone started clapping, and I'm like, why? What's going on? So this thing happened anyway about Serbians. Another thing that Russians do, you have to understand why this is strange for me. Russians, what they do is when the plane already stopped or starting to get into a parking spot, the personnel, the staff on the plane says this explicitly, that you are not supposed to unbuckle yourself and get up and move around and all this stuff. And you literally have to yell at Russians not to do this, because most of them do this immediately. The moment that the airplane stops braking, intensely braking after the whole landing. Is the focus right? Anyway, when it stopped braking, all the Russians start unbuckling like crazy, like the plane is going to explode or something. Like they are moving so fast, and then they start getting up. Everyone is starting getting up, taking their clothes, opening the storage boxes, things on top of them, and moving around. And I see all the Russians, and I'm still sitting down. I see no point in this rush, because what is it's gonna do? It's gonna give you like 5 or 10 max more minutes ahead time from others. So yeah, I see you saying both of these things are also true in the USA, except the yelling. In the US, they don't tell you twice. Yeah. Okay, so they also do this in the USA. That's interesting. I guess many people have this in common, especially it's funny to hear, since Russian propaganda is trying to make Russians hate the USA in the last couple of 15 years. Anyway, this thing which I don't really support is happening, and I see that no Serbian people are doing this. They're still sitting in their spots, buckled, no problem with that. Not a single person. They're chilling and relaxing. This is the first thing that I noticed. The next thing is that Russians are really bad at staying in line when, for example, someone is going to a passport control or stuff like this. Very often Russians start cutting, maybe not in the middle, but at the end of the line. People are constantly cutting each other. Maybe 2 or 3 people will be, that's their thoughts, good enough that I will cut, but I won't get punished for it, because it's 2 or 3 spots ahead. Who's gonna notice that? It's not a problem. I haven't seen anyone clapping in the USA when the plane lands, but definitely people in a hurry to be the first one off the plane is 100% true. Yeah, hello, Zerp. if I'm saying your nickname correctly. Good to see you too. Yes, of course you can follow me on Instagram. I think I have the page linked on my channel, like a button or something. Yes, and I hope to continue posting on it. Unfortunately, there was a thing that happened recently, and with my hard drive, and I had like a couple of 100 photos on it from my previous travels, and I'll come back to them. I'll try to revive the hard drive. It's possible that because of all these moving around and dropping, my PC just, or the hard drive rather, wasn't ready to take that. My PC actually got scratched quite a bit inside the baggage. Oh well, what can I do now? Yes, so the Serbians are very, as far as I saw, they are very good at staying in line in comparison to Russians, which, as I said, it's not like all of the Russians cut, but it happens often enough for many people to get angry about it. And it's not like you will want to fight every single person that cuts you in the line. It's you won't have enough life in you for all of this. Anyway, so yes. The place we found is quite nice here. We tried to find the cheapest one with fairly good accommodation. It has some ups and downs with it, like the internet connection is it's weird. It's sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not, and not like I can do something about it. Right now I'm streaming through my phone and using cellular, so I believe it fixes the problem, at least for now. But both of the PCs not getting connection, so I'm actually thinking about maybe getting Elon Musk's internet, because it might be cheaper for me than getting all the other stuff. We are currently in Serbia, in Novi Sad, and part of the, like a small part of it, it's called Petrovaradin. It has like a what's it called? Like a fort nearby. It's quite. It's quiet. It's small. It's low story, like 2-3 story max. There are a couple of higher buildings and the newer ones, but the old ones are 2 stories mostly. They look so cute. Like, yes, it's maybe not as well maintained like in comparison to other European countries, but in comparison to Russia, it is like very well maintained, and especially to Kazakhstan. In Kazakhstan, there are a lot of Soviet buildings, and they are so strong, I think they can withstand like a nuclear blast. Maybe they were even built for that. But other than that, they look horrible. like they all gray, badly painted over. Here it's way nicer than this. The traffic is fairly slow and light. One of the things is that it's almost nighttime at 4 p.m. And this is too quick for me. But it's okay because there are so many other benefits. The prices of here are quite good, almost the same as in Kazakhstan, for example. But the choice is way better, and the quality is also way better of most products. What else do I tell you? We just had like a small walk previously. We came back like 30 minutes ago, and we went to the Novi Sad, which is like a bigger town and more traffic, way more stories in the buildings. It's still quite beautiful, but if I would compare it to Moscow, of course Moscow is it's super big. A lot of buildings are like 15 at least stories high, and many more are even higher. Especially if we are not talking about the Soviet buildings, which are still at least 8 stories. And the thing I was going to, one of the things I was going to tell in the video that I was making is I was a bit fearful about the air quality in Serbia. So when I was in Kazakhstan, as I believe I have told previously, I has downloaded the app. It's IQ Air, I believe it's called. The app shows information about air quality and what's in it, and which places in the town or city has what kind of quality of air. And so the air quality in Kazakhstan and in the town where I was in there was okay. Most of the time I was quite good, at least at what the app was saying, and the data was provided by the government of Kazakhstan. So it has some I'm not trusting it completely. It's raising some questions because the government of Kazakhstan is well, yes, it has quite a lot of corruption in it. Even with the recent change, they had a different president back then, who was like almost best friends with Putin. They have changed him to a new one. And the people and friends and family of the previous president were unallowed to go back to the government, to the office. And that was a change that happened quite recently, and they also had like almost a mutiny in Kazakhstan. But that's maybe I'll tell this story next time. What made you decide to choose Serbia to move to? The choice was made quite quickly, and the reason for it was I was thinking about getting a job. I was not hopeful on getting an online job, and I was thinking about getting like a chef or something. And I have like in Telegram a couple of channels, and I'm watching through them, and I saw opportunities and for being a cook, and one was for being a chef, which I wasn't able to get because I was not in Serbia at the moment. The person who was hiring could only do this in person, the interview. So I missed that train, but I heard that there are quite a lot of work offers here, and this was one of the most important things. Why? Also, I've heard that Serbia is quite loyal towards Russians, and also another thing is that Serbia is Europe, and it is one of the easiest European countries to get into. So, and it's also quite cheap to live, to eat, and all this stuff. So all of these things combined, it was almost obvious to me. And so we bought the tickets, and it was like a split-second decision, because the prices, as I told previously, they were just going crazy. We were quite lucky. We still didn't get the cheapest ticket here, but it was one of the cheapest. And if we would have gotten the cheapest one, we would have like saved maybe 25% or 33%. But other than that, still a pretty good deal. And if we wouldn't have gotten this ticket, we would have paid like almost 200% more at least for the whole flight. So yes, this was the reason. Are you planning to stay in Serbia permanently, or are you going to head somewhere else? I am not sure. We will be thinking and talking about it and a lot. I still have hopes in finding a distance job, and if we do, then we will have choices to move, and I am for moving around. It has some ups and it has some downs, but I would like to see more places and to find out for myself which one is better, because you can always look and hear stories of people doing stuff, but once you do it yourself, it's a completely different story. When we were in Russia, and we still get sometimes messages from people in Russia that some say like, why would you go to Europe? They have these problems and that problems, like energy crisis, and they hate Russians and all this stuff. And also they have friends who came back from England, USA, like all the other different countries, from Balkans. And if we would listen to every single person we hear, it would just, we wouldn't do anything and just sit in one spot, and we would be still in Russia possibly. And also Russia doesn't have right now much of distance work, and most of it is taken, and the one that is left is just like lying and stealing from people most of the time. And even that would not pay you much. Which is what is the point then in doing this? Okay. By the way, my true name is Del Perez. Thus, the rep RD is the reversal of the last name and first initials. Are you still able to access your Buy Me a Coffee? Small donation coming your way. Poor here. Well, thank you anyway for any donation. It helps in many ways. And yes, I still have access to my Buy Me a Coffee. I'm making some posts there sometimes, and I wasn't posting recently because of, mostly because of internet and no access to my PC, and trying to relax. The travel, even though I've had some great and fun experiences, it was very hard on us. We almost didn't sleep. I didn't sleep because, well, I slept like shutting my eyes and dropping my head for like 5 to 10 minutes and then waking up, and then again, and like overall in 3 days of travel it was maybe 6 hours or 8 hours of sleep, but it's still better than nothing. But and also the food was yes, it was pricey, and especially on the plane. So I had to recuperate, but yeah, I still have the access, and yep, thank you, Dale. I came across a video from Wall Street Journal that some tech workers are able to keep their tech jobs in Russia but perform the job remotely. Their problem, though, is getting paid in rubles. Yeah, yes. Well, still a lot of tech workers are living from Russia, and I, as well as I hear that they're getting paid a bit more, the ones that stay. But also when they leave, when people leave, the job vacancy isn't open anymore most of the times, as far as I see, because the sites with job vacancies, they have less and less job offers presented. International transfer is their biggest issue. Do you mean that international transfer in there for Russians, or for the international travel in Europe? Have you new neighbors been pretty welcoming? Yes, fairly welcoming. We had some quite nice talks. One strange thing is that for us it's strange. There is no washing machine in here, in the apartment, if I can call it that. But they have it, and we have to pay them €1 for the wash. Like it's like their small business. It's we're getting this apartment, which is, well, it's quite nice, but it's not like chic and or anything. But it's well, it has a weird small kitchen which I don't really like. But they have access to a kitchen. The wind is banging on the door right now. But they have a kitchen outside on like almost like a porch. They also have kiwi here, which I wasn't expecting. I always thought it was would only grow like in Africa or something. But yes, so the other than us paying for our clothes getting washed, it's fairly, and the internet working weirdly, which is well, it's bad, and I need a good internet connection for a couple of reasons. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to fix that, but we'll see, and maybe if not, we'll maybe try to find a new place. We'll see. Come to the Netherlands. We have enough jobs here. By the way, Diana, I saw you saying hi to me. I'm not sure if I waved and said hello to you. Hi. Again, maybe. Netherlands. I believe it's very cold there right now, is it not? I'm quite enjoying this, even though it's still quite cold. It's like plus 10 degrees Celsius here, and it's 10 degrees above frozen temperature, so it's fairly good. A bit chilly, but it's all right. You can do almost anything outside still. Yes, but I think we will look into that anyway, because who knows what's going to happen next. I don't know what's going to happen next. Even though it seems like everything on the front is chilling down and slowing down, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. So thank you for the idea. We will think about it. Another Russian who fleds says he uses Payoneer to move his money internationally. Payoneer, yes. So the Buy Me a Coffee doesn't send the money directly. You have to move it from there to Payoneer, and after that from Payoneer to your card, which is quite complicated. But I'll see if and how I will get to that. And also the credit card that I got in Kazakhstan, and I wasn't able to get one that has multi-card with euro, dollars, and all the other stuff. And that's the first thing. And the second thing, this card doesn't work with PayPal, for example. It's the only bank that doesn't work in Kazakhstan with PayPal. I got its card. That's ridiculous, but it happened. Yes, I hope that I will have a way to move money with the cards I have from, and if not, then I'll find another way. Maybe I send these money to someone I know, and we'll figure it out anyway. In the VSJ video, the reporter said the tech workers were actually assisted by the tech company back in Russia to facilitate the remote job. Yes, because especially now they are so fearful of losing these specialists that they are ready finally to pay them good money and offer them like my brother is still working at a tech company that is Russian, and he has connections with the tech guys inside, and they get like 3-month vacation out of nowhere. They're like working for a year and they get 3 months to chill, and they get money for this time. And most of the time you will in Russia you will get this leave unless you have like the best and the most amazing job. You will have barely enough money to buy you a ticket to fly one way. In some companies it's not this horrible, but most of the times it's like this. And now they're like, yes, please go and chill, but please come back. Yes, bad things have to happen for people to start respecting each other. Yes, that's a good question, by the way. What is the situation like for Russians to come to the Netherlands? Are they allowed employment there? So, for example, here in Serbia, one of the things is that, like in, I believe, all of the European countries, you have to get like a document that says that you're allowed to work in the country. And to get it, you have to get an offer. And to get that offer, the company that is employing you has to prove that you are a better pick than someone who is a local. At least that is what the it's supposed to be doing. I'm not sure about the complete process, but the fact that it is this, it's stopping a lot of people from getting the job, and a lot of companies from finding and offering jobs to people from other countries. And in comparison, in Russia, when I walk around, I see like road workers and all the other types of working people. They are not Russians. Even the ones who control them are not Russians. They are from all over around Russia, but almost never they are Russians. Here I see just Serbians everywhere. As far as I see, I'm not like checking their documents, of course, but I see they look like Serbians, and I think that's like an interesting moment, because that shows that, well, their respect towards workers, they will have to pay them fair amount of money instead of like what's happening in Russia, when like you get a couple of like dozens of workers that came on a bus to you, and you give them the job for a month and maybe a place to stay, and you barely give them enough money to eat, or maybe like open a kitchen for them. and they work for a month or 2 months, and then they don't get paid. They throw them out. They make find new people, and the process starts all over, and you are just like, you're building a new apartment building, right? And you're stealing money on every level. And for example, like $1 million for the build, you get half of the money immediately cut off and put in the pockets of the top layer management. Then the second half is going into the building process, and you have management there. Like almost half of this money is just cut away and stolen. Then next and next, and like maybe 10 to 20% of money is left. And now you have all this like tiny amount of cash, and now you have to do this ridiculous thing when you throw people away and don't pay them. At least you are feeding them maybe and giving them a place to stay. But Alexander, do you also view other Russians' videos to see their experiences to find opportunity for yourself? One couple I saw is in Montenegro, next door to you, and they're doing well there. No, not really, not watching others right now as much. I saw just a bit of videos like Dima from Russia, and what's this guy channel's name, like NKZ, this dude who is in Georgia right now, and Dima is also in Georgia. I also saw one video of like a couple who are in Serbia right now, and I saw them quite recently. But other than that, no. Yes, NFKRZ. Yes, thank you. This guy, Roman. Yes. Also, by the way, an interesting thing is about the local Serbian language, and I had expectations about it that it would be quite similar, but it is apparently very similar to Russian in very weird places, and it's funny to find it all out and feel it out, because how it feels like, I haven't checked the history of Serbia yet. We were going to do that and find out what's going on and why do they have this conflict right now with Kosovo. By the way, the first thing that I saw in Serbia after exiting the airport was a writing. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to take a photo. We got the taxi, we got in it and left. There was a bridge over the road from the airport, and on that wide bridge, like a giant, like ½ meter sized letters saying in Serbian and also in Russian, because these things that were said are exactly the same. Kosovo is Serbia. Like giant letters, black on white. So that happened. Also, while we were walking along the streets to a new place of stay, we found some words about love to Putin. But it wasn't that much. I believe that's the only things we found. We were in Belgrade at the moment. We are now here in a smaller town, and I haven't seen anything like this here. Maybe I didn't understand it, but the Serbian language, it feels like it's split from Russian language. A couple of maybe tens, 100 or more years ago, like maybe 200 years ago, it feels so. And it started taking in different terms. Like in Russia, we have taken in mostly Middle Eastern terms and some of the Asian terms. And here they have taken in German, like many of the other Latin languages terms. So at the moment before they split, it's like exactly the same language. You have these numbers which are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it almost sounds exactly the same. And also you have other stuff which is exactly the same, and then there's stuff that writes the same way, but it's pronounced strangely differently. Like some letters are changed, but they are still the same letters. They also have 2 alphabets right now, I believe. They have the Latin one and the Cyrillic one. And they are swapping them all the time. They have different letters. Even in Cyrillic alphabet, they have different letters for the same stuff. For some reason. Maybe that's how they develop their own country, their own alphabet. I'm not sure. I will find out, and we will see, and I will tell you what I found. One Russian is in South Korea, going there from either Thailand or Vietnam. Jan Big Boot. Yeah, Roman is crazy. You gotta love that. Oh, the time there now is 8:30 p.m. evening. California, it's 11 a.m. morning. I thought it was very late, but not too late after all. There, you mean here in Serbia, 8:30 p.m. Is it 8:30? I'm actually, I don't know. Yeah, it is 8:30. If they claim Kosovo is Serbia, they have taken a lot of Albanian and Turkish. Well, yes, I'm not sure what's going on here with Kosovo and Serbia. I hope to find out there. I heard that Kosovo has a different religion. Serbians are not Catholic but Orthodox Christians. And you can see quite a lot of the crucifixes all around here on the walls sometimes, and like monuments and stuff. I believe they're pretty happy, not happy, but very supportive about their religion. But it's not like I see a lot of religious processes happening around. I'm not sure. Yes, and the Kosovo people, I hear they are. Okay, it just slipped my mind. What's it called? Islamic. Yes, like and maybe that's it. There's like enough of a reason for them to hate each other. Anyway. Can you understand enough Serbian to know what people are saying, assuming you haven't already learned a bit of the language? Yes, so the amount of things that I understand is about 10 to 15% with no without any learning beforehand. With some learning, I'm finding out that up to 20% I can understand fairly well. But it's just like bits and pieces. And also the thing is, I was in Spain for some time, and I learned just a tiny amount of Spanish. I also, since I love cooking, I read a lot of stickers on foods, and sometimes it's Italian and all the other stuff, German, and I see the words and I see the parts of the words, right? The Latin parts and Germanic and all the other stuff, and I see, since I know quite a bit of them, I start finding them in Serbian. Which is quite helpful. But of course, when a person is talking to me in Serbian, he is talking quite quickly, so I don't have as much of an understanding, therefore, in the moment. But when I look at the text, it's quite easy, and sometimes it's funny even, because it's just I don't know. It's almost the same, but it's like on its head. That's how it feels. As to Russian, I mean. Okay, good. A lost connection. Let me check. Seems fine to me. So yes. Overall, it was a fun experience, and to get here, the prices are a nice touch, because money is kind of a problem, lack of them right now, and they have fairly good prices here for most of the things, and also we have access to European stuff, which is also great. The quality, and this Serbia is apparently famous for its meat. The meat here is also quite cheap. It's not like dirt cheap, but it's quite cheap, cheaper than in Kazakhstan definitely, and in Russia. And it's tasty. We tried a couple of meats here. It's good. It's really good. And you can get a lot of it every shop. They produce it here in Novi Sad, and not only here but all over Serbia. So a lot of different options and places and types of meat, and I think it's fun. It's fun to try and to understand the culture through its meats and meats and foods and all this stuff. At least you're in part of Europe. Yes, yes, that is true. We are in part of Europe, and it feels like Europe here also. And even though the town is quite small, I'm not sure how much people are here. It feels cozy. It feels nice, at least to me. And there are quite a lot of trees around. It's quite old. It has history, and also it's just relaxing to be here. In contrast, the town we were in, even in Kazakhstan, I mean, in Ust-Özkemen, as it's called, it's quite depressing. Even in the most beautiful places, some of which you could have seen inside in my videos, I was walking along this long road along the river. It's called the Walk of Lovers, if I'm translating it correctly. And the town management has poured in quite a lot of money to make it. And even I heard some people get angry about the guy we were traveling in the train with, said it was ridiculous how much money they have poured inside this river bank. It was beautiful. On the video I was reviewing it, and like it was amazing, like just. But other than that, it's very depressing around the town. Not as much here. I'm feeling quite happy here. It's not intense, not much things you can do here, but we walked almost to the center of the town in like 30 minutes or so. Didn't take no bus, and if we would have, it would have been like 5 to 10 minutes. Yep. I got the impression that you're more vegetarian than carnivorous. Yes, it was. I have like waves, I would call it, because I understand why people are vegetarian, and I understand why some people choose to stay carnivorous. And I think it's both ways are okay. I'm not like a religious fanatic about being one way or the other. And in the last month, it was better for me to stay vegetarian. Most of the foods I ate were vegetarian. But the first dish I ate in, and the only dish I believe I ate in Kazakhstan was fried lamb, like it's called shashlik in Russian and Georgian and Kazakhstan, and it's just like a barbecue, but barbecue is an exact way of cooking, but this is like over open fire on a metal shampoo, as it's called, like a metal stick. Anyway, I ate this, and then it was a salad with horse meat, and I drank tea with milk, which is called Kazakh tea, apparently, and I drank it beforehand in Russia, and I didn't know it was called that. But anyway, so I ate this, and afterwards, most of the time I ate just vegetarian food, because the food in one of the reasons was that food in Kazakhstan, the meat in Kazakhstan, it's not of good quality. And I see a lot of places that food is just getting pummeled with antibiotics and all the stuff, especially chicken. I see the chicken that it's steroid chicken, basically. And it doesn't even taste as good. It maybe would have been better if it would have tasted good, but it's just like a substitute for chicken. Like it's almost fake chicken, as it seems like it's almost plastic. And it's not good, it's not tasty, so why would I eat it anyway? At times I am eating no meat because I don't feel like it. And it may take a month or a week or maybe half a year. And I'm trying to be respectful to my body, because I believe that eating better quality food is better to prevent a lot of diseases and problems with your intestines and stuff. I reckon you're pretty safe there. Yes, as I've heard that it is very safe in Serbia. You can easily walk around at night. You won't have any problems with anyone. And this is a good contrast to Kazakhstan or Russia, for example. Because when you are in Russia, you can. When I was in Russia, there was always a time when I would walk at night or late evening, and I would be thinking that while I will be seeing someone walking towards me or maybe to the side of me, I would be thinking that, okay, I have to get ready if something will happen, and I'm like watching him most of the time, because why would I fear someone else? I'm watching and not like changing direction or anything like this, but I have to be mindful. And the same story happens in Kazakhstan. And I also see other people thinking that. And it's not just like me. It's I see sometimes like women looking at me, or even men looking at me, not like funny, but a bit fearful. And so they might take distance and all this stuff. Doesn't happen here. One of the first things, and especially since it's almost nighttime at like 5 p.m., it's nighttime, it's like almost black outside. And in the evening, when I was walking to the shop, I saw like many people, and especially women, dressed completely different, walking around like without any fear or anything like this. So, and also heard people saying that it's no problem, and people here have a lot of respect for many things, such as privacy and all that stuff. Oh yes, I saw that video. That riverside walk was very attractive. That climb you had to the monument on top of mount was nice too. Yes, they have built it quite recently, maybe 10 to 15 years ago. And yeah, it was quite nice. The mountains are beautiful, and it's one of the many things I like about nature. It was a good idea for them to make this monument. It's kind of weird, but still a pretty good idea. Okay, the arm. Okay, so it was like this ridiculous idea that we had, that it would help me cross the border, because at the moment when I was crossing it, I was quite fearful of getting a rejection, and this was a way to, because you wouldn't be conscripted if you have a broken arm. So it was not such a great idea in the end. It was ridiculous. It kind of worked, but it kind of didn't, because most of the men, there were so many other Russians that were leaving at the moment, so it actually, they asked me a lot more questions because of me being different. That's one of the things in Russia, that you shouldn't be very different, because you will raise suspicion, even if that thing is about your health. So everything was fine. Lucky that was just a thing. Funny for you to bring it up. Yeah, so it was the crossing was, as I've told in my story, was kind of ridiculous. And I'm not sure if it was worth it or not. I don't mean to take up the discussion focus, so I'll just say now, I hope to find your proper home and your future bride, Alexander. It would be nice to hear when you become a father too. Thank you, thank you. I will try to keep everyone and you posted, if I'm saying it correctly. Okay. Not to mention the living condition of the factory farm animals. Yes, that is one of the many things that I don't really like about the food. And the conditions, you can look at it from two ways, from two positions. From their position of the animals, like how would you imagine them, how they feel and all this stuff, and from position of the consumer. And it's actually bad from both positions, because yes, of course it's horrible, like to live as this animal, and it's horrible, and in some places it's just so bad, it's beyond any standards. It's just, even the standards, living by the standards, the flock living by the standards is not in a great condition. But many places in Russia and other countries, they don't even care about these standards. So that's one thing. And from the position of the consumer, there is a lot of information that is, well, it just seems completely illogical, even if you don't know much about like biology, but basic biology understanding shows like to live properly for humans or other living organisms, they have to exist in fairly good conditions, like air quality, food quality, like water quality, all this radiation, sunlight, and all this, and also exercise. And I won't take like much just time talking about it, but it's just a lot of chickens, for example, they exist like in small cages, like this big. They have food in front of them, and that's it. They just place them in the cage, like a tiny cage. They can't even like run around it, especially when they get big. They put hormones, steroids in them, so they will grow like in a week from this like a chick to a almost whole chicken. And then they cut it and all the other stuff. And even if we forget about all the fear and all the other stuff and the amount of stuff they put in them, it's living inside a cage. It's not smelling the air, it's not running around, and it's not talking to other chickens, it's not living a happy life. Of course it's gonna be like a broken ecosystem inside this chicken, and we're eating this. So of course it's gonna make us worse in many ways possible. And that is what's happening. And one of the things that I've tried is, for example, eating chickens that are free range. And the difference is very significant. For example, the chickens that are free range are pretty small. They are smaller than the steroid ones, like 15 to 20% less. That's one thing. Secondly, all the meat on them is not like fat strains of meat, strains, I don't know. And it's like tiny strains of meat grains in their structure, right? And it's hard when you try to chew in it. It's really hard. It's like 4 times as hard as the steroid chicken, and you have to cook it for a long time to make it fall apart. And the taste is also way better. And also the chicken is almost yellow. The whole chicken is yellow when it's free range and when it's fed with grass and all the other stuff that chickens normally get, like insects and all that stuff. And the same thing I hear with cows, that if you feed them with grass, that is what they are supposed to get, and not nuts and all the other grain stuff, they get better health, they get better longevity, they are more energetic and all the other stuff. And when you get into the you get into the structure of their intestines, they have way better molecular, like more vitamins in it, basically. So when you eat it, it's better for you and all the other stuff. Lots of bad meat in the USA too, pumped full of antibiotics, growth hormones, steroids, etc. Chlorine deep chicken. Yes, chlorine deep chicken. That is what is happening. And I hear a lot of people who worked in like supermarkets and stuff, they do this like every day. They get chickens and they dip them in chlorine water and then they wash them away and stuff, and it's getting like white. And place it under the wrap and place the sticker on it like it's fresh, and it's gone. Not to mention the living condition of the factory farm animals. That is, yeah. Yes, good quality meat is very rare and more expensive. That is true, especially if we're talking about the feeding process. And it also takes a lot more time for the animal to grow. Therefore, a lot more ingredients, like stuff, goes into it. And you can't just place like hundreds of cows, like heads, inside the one space and don't give them antibiotics. So it's worse for business because you can't grow it as easily. You have to manage stuff, of course. List area. Because of food issues. Trying to keep up with the chat while I'm just rambling about. Think about becoming vegan. Yes, I think about this quite a lot. I think that one of the best ways for me to live is to be respectful to the food that I eat. And maybe my next step would be eating the only meat that I killed myself, basically. Because that would make me at least respect the process. Because when you don't see all this stuff happening, you don't have respect. One of the things about being vegan is that you can't eat like 100% of the plant that you grow. You just eat the fruits of the plant, and all the other stuff is you have to throw it away, for example. And of course you have to feed it to the animals. And if there will be so much, people have to find a way for better usage of all this waste stuff. So it's not like every single person can immediately on the planet become vegetarian and all the problems will go away. It's not how things work. The thing about humans and animals relationship is like a whole different topic. I was in Kamchatka, and there were a lot of bears, a lot of bears. In some places you can see like dozens of bears just walking around. every single one of them can kill you, and it's quite scary. But the thing with bears, for example, and I heard that from local, what do they call them? It's like the correct term is stalker, I think. No, not stalker. In Russian, it's stalker, I think. The one who, like a guide, but for long trips in nature. And in Kamchatka, there is a rule that a guide can't be someone from the outside. It has to be someone who has connection with the locals, and it's best to have native blood in him, because others wouldn't be respected that much. They can be like assistants to this guy, but they can't be the guides, unless maybe they would like live for 20 years and inside this area and learn every single thing about it. So one of the things that he had told us, and I believe this to be true, that bears have a hierarchy. It's not like they do, every single bear does whatever he wants. They have a territory. And the eldest ones are the smartest ones. They know every single thing that is happening or happened in their area. They know where humans live and where water and all the other stuff happens. So they are smart, and they defend this territory, and they govern this territory. They see whether there's too much of animals of different types there, and they eat them and stuff. But the thing is that they protect this area from new, stupid, young bears. And bears are really strong, and they have no need for intellect. Basically, barely any need for intellect, because they can break like every single thing that lives on the planet with almost one hit. So why would you need it? And you have these old bears that are like 50 years old or something like this, or older, and they have this knowledge and this respect, and they don't go into territory of humans. They understand that they can make problems for them, and they respect humans. And the young ones, on the comparison, they constantly do this. They leave their area, they don't care about regions, and they just come and attack, for example, humans, and break stuff and do stupid shit. But that doesn't happen if grown-ups control this. When grown-up bears, if the bear breaks their territory, they will kick them like bad, and possibly even kill them. And that thing, when they understand that, oh, I almost died, I have to respect this, they start understanding more and more. And the ones that survive are actually not the strongest ones, but those who are the smartest. So the oldest bears are controlling bears' population all around. And what humans do, what human hunters do, most of the hunters, yes, there are some who understand the nature and the way things work, but quite a lot of them, no disrespect for hunters in general, just the stupid ones. in my opinion. They go and they kill the biggest one they can find because that is cool. That's the only reason. They want like a big rug or like big antlers on their wall, and that's it. And they go and kill the biggest bears because they think also maybe when they see like a small bear attack a woman or someone on the street, they think, oh my God, I'm going to kill every single one of these bears. And of course they're going to kill the biggest ones because they think that they are the biggest threat. So they go and do that, and then the whole system is broken. The only ones that humans are left with are the stupid bears, which do stupid stuff. And now the ecosystem is broken. And a lot of the bears do stupid things all the time. They like break into buildings and do whatever they want. They like, people tell you stories, you have to put your arms up and yell, and it doesn't work. They don't care. They like don't care at all. This thing happened to a camp like 10 meters away from our camp, over the yay big river. A bear came into a tent and broke the tent, one tent, looked around, saw some bag or something, took it, broke into the other tent, which was kitchen, broke everything inside, like ate stuff. Everyone woke up in the area, like 20 to 50 people in the camp, and started doing this thing. It didn't do stuff. Didn't even react. He's just like, whatever. I'm gonna eat all your stuff and just I'll make a dump here and leave because who cares about you? A grown-up bear wouldn't do that. So that's a long story about how things may differ in understandings of humans and the animals. If in USA, if you leave a gate open to the chicken pen, they sell it as a free range. I would first eat charcoal, then reach for ballot. I heard it tastes salty. Okay. Double points. Watching from Bakersfield, California. Hello, Ballot John. Corn-fed chickens are yellow, but I've never fancied them even in the best shops. Well, I'm not sure. I haven't grown any chickens in my life, but maybe it is the only reason why they get yellow, but maybe not. But also the fat gets, I believe, yellow anyway. But when you buy it in supermarkets, it's always white because of chlorine. Health matters a lot. You are what you eat. I moved from frozen North Dakota to California for the hot weather. Yep. Feeling hot weather is like a good change, because especially from the frozen waste we were in previously, the last day before we came here. I like your philosophy of respecting the food that you eat. Yes, I think that nowadays people are losing many things that they had previously. One of them is respect for nature, because we live too far away from it. I heard these stories. There's like saints, a couple of them in Russia, that that were like animal whisperers. So they lived in a remote location from a village or a town, and everyone knew where they were, but they had like dozens of animals come to them, like wolves, deer, and all the other, like bears also. And I was like, what? And of course you can explain this in a way that like they are so saying that, but I believe that it's just respect to and understanding. That bears that everyone is talking about, that are killing people, that are killing machines, have no respect for anything, would come to a guy in like dozens of years in a row and wouldn't kill him and would respect him. And it's like not a grown by him bear, it's a wild animal. I don't know, yes, this raises a lot of questions in my mind about how we live. I've heard vegetarians compensate by consuming legume combinations. Yes, animal whispers may also be shamans. Yes, shamans also is, they had, I believe, some deeper understanding than we have, and many doctors right now have, for example, in some ways, like more universal understanding of how human and bodies and nature works. Right now, doctors have like so limited by one directional understanding, which sometimes but rarely has a useful effect, at least in my experience. Maybe I'm not right. Okay, I will be ending the stream in like 5 minutes or so, because I was thinking that it would be about 30 minutes long. I'm pretty sure it's like over 1.5 hours right now. Let me check. Oh yeah, 1:45. So yeah, if any other questions, I would be glad and happy to answer them. Do pandas count as bears? Well, they are cute as hell. I don't think... Well, I'm still pretty sure that a panda can kill a person. I'm not a vegetarian, but make sure I have the best of food. We have local farm shop. Yes, local farm shop sound great. And... sometimes I saw that they have way higher prices. I'm not sure if it's always worth it, but I think that overall taste is really important. Nowadays we can fake a lot of tastes. We can add like additives, like sugar and stuff. But lucky for us, we can read the stickers and see whether stuff is added. So that's one thing that is good today. We got so engrossed in the conversation. Good seeing you again. Stay strong, stay well, stay safe. Thank you very much. How long have you been in Serbia, Alex? We are here for like, it is maybe the 5th day. And The first 2 or 3 days we were sleeping most of the time. So you couldn't count those. Like 2 or 3 days, it feels like. I'm in the UK, so Wales is on my doorstep with the famous Welsh lamb. Oh, yes, yes. I think I was in Wales also. I really like their architecture. And the grass in UK is amazing. I almost envy the animals that would eat it. So yes, I think that it is possible to grow up proper lamb and the animals there. Good night, Dale. See you. And yep, I will eat more beans soon, I think. Good chatting with you. Thank you. There is a video where they're traveling into Serbia that is recent. Thank you for enjoyable stream. I'm glad to hear that things are going all right for you in Serbia, and I hope everything falls into place very soon. Love and blessing to all. Thank you very much. It's always nice to hear words of support from you. They are helping very much. So you have time to seek out food shops, bakeries. Yep, bakeries is one thing that is here, and I like them very much. And the bread is good, it's quite cheap, and it's really good. What are they called? Pekara, as they are called here. It's almost the same as in Russian, which is pekarnya. You're only 4 hours flight away from UK. Yes, not far away. This one is one of the reasons why it's good to be here, because so close to all the other world. And one of the other things is that UK is not so open right now to Russians getting in it. And also the prices are not so good also. The candy, we ate some candy like licorice. Okay, I think you get the point. These sticks, I love them. The ones from UK are amazing. They're so soft and melty. They are the best. And you can't almost get it anywhere, just like in very rare places. And one of them is UK. When I was there, I enjoyed it so much. Licorice. No, yeah. What is my profession? That is a good question, and the answer is well, it's complicated. I had a couple of jobs. I was when I was in my early 20s, I thought that my way in life would be to learn cooking in an extremely deep way, and I enjoyed it very much. I learned a lot. I worked in a lot of places, in cafes, restaurants, like burger joints and stuff. And before that, I learned a lot at home, watching videos, cooking for my family and stuff for myself. And hi, Angela. Hi, nice to see you. It's, if you are just joining, unfortunately, I am almost done for today. But as I was saying, about my profession, I did that, and I did that for 2 years in a row. Raised a lot of skills, and also worked as a sous chef, and later a bit as a chef. At that moment, it was just perfect for me. But then COVID hit, and it just obliterated me. And now I had, at the moment, I thought that I had to change the direction, and after like a long depression, chill out of in my depression state from work, like almost half a year. I was gray like a wall, and cold like, I don't know, like an ice cube almost. Was feeling pretty down anyway, and so I wanted to change direction, and I did. I started learning something new. I always enjoyed computer games since I was a small kid, and I played from very basic what's to call them, very basic consoles, that's a word, like 8-bit consoles and stuff, arcades. Oh my god, yeah. I was a little boy, but I still enjoyed them very, very much. And later, like in my 10 years, as I was 10 to 11, maybe, no, 9 years old, my parents got a computer, and so I played a bit of games there, learning more and more about them than other games like World of Warcraft, and I learned English in it. Anyway, I enjoyed games, right? So that's what I remembered, and I thought, why would I not make games? Because this seems completely logical. I understand how games are made on like brick by brick already. Why not use it? So I tried learning it by myself. It's game design, as it's called. And later my grandma bought me a course. It's a pretty very deep course in completely in Russian. Very cool professors are teaching it. It's of a university quality, I would say, really. And so I started doing this and learning more about it, trying to find a job in this area. Then I understood that throughout the course, I understood that I had quite a lot of stuff to learn. So I found a job to learn in parallel, fixing home appliances. And I did that. So while I'm studying, I'm still trying to keep on with my studies, and I have learned a lot. So I hope to find a job in this area as soon as possible. So this is my long answer to what my profession is. So cooking, I love cooking, but I'm not in love of professional cooking, I will say. It makes you do repetitive things too much, and you don't need much of understanding, and so that's it. Okay, thank you everybody for watching. I'm very happy to see all of you here. Cheers to you wherever you are, and have a good day, because I believe most of you are from USA and you have a long day ahead of you. Cheers everyone. Bye bye. Bye 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 bye.